Well, welcome back to chapter 33 in Genesis King James Version. And the summary is Jacob and Esau meet and are reconciled. Esau receives Jacob's presents, and Jacob settles in Canaan where he builds an altar. And verse 1. And Jacob lifted up his eyes and looked at, and behold, Esau came, and with him 400 men. And he divided the children into Leah and unto Rachel, and unto the two handmaids. And Rachel and Leah are his wives. Leah he was married to first. Rachel was the one he was married to next. And Leah and Rachel gave him also their handmaids to be married to. But that was given to him, and they essentially really belonged to the women, but they gave them to him for to have children with. So they're practicing polygamy, obviously. And in verse 2, and he put the handmaids and their children foremost, and Leah and her children after, and Rachel and Joseph hindermost. So what you have is a procession, and you have, um, and I guess it's the culture at the time that um, you would you coming to visit, kind of like a build up. Like have you been to the Macy's parade and there's a build up, right? So and then Santa comes at the end, woo, everyone's waiting for him, and then the parade's over. So, so Jacob puts himself way up front to lead. He's leading the way, and here's my handmaids, our handmaids, and my the reason, by the way, that Lay, even though that's his first wife, if you remember, and you might not have gone past if you didn't read the ones previous to this, that Lay was his first wife, but um, he's presenting her before Rachel because Rachel was the wife that he wanted to marry. That was the one he really wanted to marry. And I watch how I say that because it sounds kind of mean, right? Like, well, I really wanted to marry Rachel, but I got Lay, you know. But so he puts Lay first because Rachel is going to be the birthright mom, the child that he has, just as he is the birthright child. The wife that he chose, number one, will also is the birthright mom as well. So, and what I mean by that, she has the birthright son. And so Lay has and Lay and his handmaid, Lay and Lay's handmaids and Rachel handmaid, they have a lot of children for him, and he loves them. But there's going to be one birthright child. And I guess if you wanted to compare that to something, you look at queens and kings of the earth. Almost all the countries have a royalty, but only one kid out of that royalty is chosen to be the next heir with all the responsibilities. Even though everyone's loved, there is that one. And so, okay, we can take an example right now is Queen Elizabeth is in and Charles is her next, the next in the English royalty. She had um, two sons. She had more kids, but Charles is the one next. And out of Charles' kids, um, I shouldn't say it, William's the next. William is the next one in line after Charles. And then so William knows who's going to be, and I don't think they've announced it. I don't know because I guess I didn't keep up very well, but who the next predecessor is going to be. But but anyway, that's what they have here. They have this birthright child, and so the reason I'm mentioning it is because people might say, "Oh yeah, you put them first and save your favorite for the back." And why not? If you thought they were in danger, why not? He has the right to protect the one that he chose to marry first, and he chose to marry her. But their dads played his father-in-law Laban played a trick on him, and got both his daughters married in one. And I don't know if he would have done that if he didn't think well because remember Jacob could afford it too. I mean, he maybe didn't know that, but he knew what family he came from, so maybe he did. But anyway, he does it that way. He does it like, and then saves not necessarily the best for last, but the birthright, the wife that he went to marry. So everyone knows he went to marry a certain, well, and then he had to work for her. So anyway, he's saying, and here's Rachel and Joseph, you know. So anyway, and so that's the procession. And number two, and he put the handmaids and their children, that's verse 2. And he put the handmaids and their children foremost, and Leah and her children after, and Rachel and Joseph hindermost. And he passed before them, and bowed himself to the ground 7 times until he came near to his brother. And Esau ran to meet him, and embraced him, and fell on his neck, and kissed him, and they wept. When you put your head in someone's neck, it's a lot more sincere than, I mean, a hug is great, and but the closeness, there's more of an intimate closeness when you put the head in the neck, when you put your head into someone's neck, than if you just hug them. It's a good warm hug, but when it's a snuggle hug, it's a you know embracing a love hug, and that's what they did. And in verse 5, he lifted up his eyes and saw the woman and the women and the children, and said, who are those with thee? And he said, the children which God hath graciously given thy servant. And he's reminding him, God did this. Don't mess with God. And at the same time, he's anyway. Verse 6, then the handmaidens came near, and they and their children, and they bowed themselves. In verse 7, and Leah also with her children came near and bowed themselves. And after came Joseph near, and Rachel, and they bowed themselves. If there's any question to these women about being argumentatively jealous on who's the head wife, it's obvious now who the head wife is, and that is Rachel. And the most loved, the most desired. Even it doesn't mean that he has the right to treat the others harshly. But if there was any argument, like there was previously in other families about who's the head wife was, they show it here at this time. And he said, what meanest thou? All by this drove which I met. And he said, these are to find grace in the sight of my Lord. And Esau said, I have enough, my brother. Keep that thou hast unto thyself. And Jacob said, nay, I pray thee, if now I have found grace in thy sight, and receive not my present at thy hand. For therefore I have seen thy face as though I had seen the face of God, and thou wast pleased with me. And it's really neat to, if you were in a conflict with your older sisters or brothers, or your younger sisters and brothers, and you resolve it, it's a good feeling to resolve these things. And I think if you were going to give someone a gift, if someone was going to give you a gift, and you say, oh, no, 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 don't bother, keep this, and they did keep it, then that would still be, they kept it. But if a flare comes up, he can always say, but my brother did give me this. And so Jacob does say, no, 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 this is yours. Let me give this to you. And it's a reminder that it's a peace offering, that if he decides to blow his stack again, that my brother did give me this. I have all this because of my brother. And they all bow to him, so he doesn't have to go, and he thinks he's better than me, any of that kind of stuff going on. Even though he's the one that's the birthright child and has the birthright blessing, Jacob is. And remember, he just got a new name. And so it's interesting. And I don't think we saw the name yet, so we'll see. We'll keep watching. And in 11, take, I pray thee, my blessing. This is brought to thee, because God hath dealt graciously with me, because I have enough. And he urged him, and he took it. And he said, let us, I want to say something else. Sometimes people will try to give you a gift. And I've noticed that some people will not take a gift. They will not take any help from anyone because they feel like that means I'm going to be indebted. I need to return this. Or that means I'm needy because I accepted this gift. Or all this stuff. And if you give a child a gift, they'll just say thank you. And sometimes when it says we need to become more childlike, we just need to say thank you and be gratuitous, even if we didn't need it, that that person thought of us. And even if that person was giving us some, gift to insult us, like, oh, I gave them that gift and it was nothing. And even if you say, oh, thank you so much, they'll feel bad sometimes because they did that and they learned a lesson, because that's just not a nice thing to do. And you should be honored if someone is thankful for the gift you gave them, even if you have 50 of them. And if they're doing it to insult you, well, it's all on them. And you just be gracious. So, and you see this here, that the humility of graciousness, and it just shows you, I'm not going to, is someone a better man? And is that why he got the birthright and the blessings? It's not the easiest thing to do, but you could see why that person probably was chosen. God knew him. And but you can see the growth in Esau and the forgiveness of him being away. And sometimes they say absence makes the heart grow fonder. And who knows what kind of learning experience he's had and watched his mom miss his brother, and his dad miss his brother, and his kids growing up without their cousins, and just it was a good growth time for Esau too. So this is good, you know. And he said unto him, my Lord, okay, uh, I'm going to go to verse 12. And he said, let us take our journey and let us go, and I will go before thee. And verse 13, and he said unto him, my Lord knoweth that the children are tender, and the flocks and herds are young are with me. And if men should overdrive them, one day all the flock will die. So he's going, I have babies, and all, we can't go fast. We need to take our time because we have babies with us, and they can only move so fast, and you can wear them out, and all this stuff like that. And so many times people forget that their children are just children, and they say they're being bad today. They're having a bad day. They're being bad today. But they don't call themselves being bad when they're just having a day where they just want to be by themselves. Sometimes adults just want to be by themselves, and um, and are just cranky. Maybe the food didn't set right with them, and they don't know why. This is their cocooning time, or they don't know why. They're just kind of gripey today. And that's the same thing with children. They're not being bad. They just have one of those days. And sometimes it's a part of their emotional growth. And so instead of saying they're being bad or they're being naughty or they're cranky today, maybe just say they just want some space today. Don't label them and give them a self-fulfilling prophecy that this is what they are. Just, they just need some space today, or they're hungry, or they're tired. Because when we're tired, we act cranky too. I know I do. I act cranky when I am tired, and that's about 10:30 at night. I just want to be relaxed and just be gel. I just want to gel, and I can't be at a lecture, and I can't be at all these other things. And I used to be able to, but now I just want to gel, and that's what I want to do. I don't want to be at a lecture. I don't want to be, I just want to be someplace where I can gel. And people might say, oh, she's cranky. She used to be this way, or she's gotten mean. I don't know. No one, not that I know if everyone said it, but you know, that's just the way it is. And I don't take a nap in the daytime. Maybe if I took a nap or two or three, I would be different. And I think that's one good reason we give kids naps, is because they are these little bodies, and it takes us 5 steps to do something, and it takes them 20 to do this, get there too. They're throwing off a lot more energy, plus their body's using energy to grow. And so we need to be more patient with them, and also our elderly, because they have aches and pains, and where we might move freely, they're hurting when they do it, and they just still manage to do it with a smile and tenderness. And if you know, what a thing, what a nice thing, because they know what's important and don't want to ruin their day by just being too cranky all day, you know. So if they need an extra nap, let them have that, because their body has a lot going on too. But so do we all. So let me move back on over to here. And so he wants them to take their time. You know, oh, we got to move slow. We got to be careful. You know, it shows that he's a caring person. He doesn't, oh, they don't matter. I'll get some more grow anyway. I'm being blessed. I'll get some more, and the kids will get over it. Let their mothers carry them or put them in the cart. You know, more that's he's going. Let's slow down for everyone. Let's just slow down. It's okay. We're gonna get there. And 14, let my Lord, I pray thee, pass over before his servant, and I will lead on softly, according as the cattle that goeth before me, and the children be able to endure until I come into my Lord unto Sire. 15, and Esau said, let me now leave with thee some of the flock that are with me. And he said, what needeth it? Let me find grace in the sight of my Lord. And he did this all in lowercase, because he doesn't mean like God. He means the Lord. You know, he's telling him, you're over me. And 16, so Esau returned that day on his way into Sire. And 17, and Jacob journeyed to Succoth and built him a house and made booths for his cattle. Wherefore the name of the place is called Succoth. And 18, and Jacob came to Shalem, a city of Shechem, which is in the land of Canaan, when he came from Padanaram, and pitched his tent before the city. In 19 verse, he bought a parcel of field where he had spread his tent, and the hand of the children of Hamor, Shechem's father, for 100 pieces of money. And he erected in 20, he erected an altar and called it Elohi Israel, Elohi Israel. And I'm gonna see if it says anything. Tells me anything what that means. Let's see if I can pull this over. LL is God of Israel. LL, God is the God of Israel. So I guess that's what the whole. So he actually says that, and I don't know if you know this, but that's what Jacob's name was called. What it was called. It was changed to Israel. So he's saying God is with him, right? Okay, well, that's that. And I will see you in 34 verse, chapter 34. I hope that helped. See you later.